The recent Oblivion and System Shock 2 remasters have put the modern gaming industry in a tight spot. Not only are these video games made over 20 years ago still hold up better than anything these soulless AAA companies have been producing in the past 5 years, but they have also opened people's eyes to the stagnation of the gaming industry. Gone is the passion for innovation. They need to constantly push boundaries and bring gaming to new horizons. Nowadays, AAA companies have stopped taking risks. Because why would they? What's the point of innovating when people will just mindlessly buy anything as long as it has fancy graphics, belongs to a well-established IP, then engage in some advanced level mental calisthenics to justify their purchase? It is nothing short of prophetic foretelling that a game called System Shock will resurrect and deliver to the system and those who are a part of it a much needed awakening jolt. But alas, this video is not about the crumbling modern gaming hellscape. It is a celebration of everything that is and was good about gaming, an introspective look at the industry and how far it has fallen. If I had to describe the System Shock 2 Remaster in one image, it would be the original looking at modern gaming, then going,
I'll do it myself.
The father of the immersive sim genre has made his return, and triumphant a return it indeed is. 25 years after release and still showing them how it's done. What is up, LobotomizeGang is the guy. You know, the guy who just got an absolute monster of a new PC, then uses it to binge-watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because nowadays, AAA games run like a disabled Reddit mod.
I am void, vision of the demise, virtual consciousness made manifest. I think, therefore I am. Prepare to succumb, father.
Wait, my demise?
Just yours, specifically. Only yours.
See, my PC is so powerful it has already developed its own consciousness and is plotting my death. It even named itself after me dying specifically. I might have to take a look at the system later. System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Remaster is a head-bonking, smack-using, secret hunting, hopelessly lost-getting, atmos-staring, to audio loss listening, being so good that it helped me see God, taste divinity, transcend humanity, and roam the infinite cyberspace simulator. Or was it the shroom that I took? Originally developed by Looking Glass and Irrational Games, two legendary companies behind the beloved Thief and BioShock franchises, now remastered by Night Dive Studio. System Shock 2 is a survival horror role-playing FPS with some of the first immersive sim elements ever implemented in a video game, thus making it not only a good game, but the good game that slept with other good games moms and becoming the father of the entire immersive sim genre. System Shock 2 is, by all definitions, the Genghis Khan of video games. Disclaimer, this is the first time I've played this game and I have not touched the original, so nostalgia does not factor into this at all. You're getting the authentic first-time digital entertainment cherry-popping experience right here. Also, mild spoilers for the first half of the game, which is about 6 hours in. These spoilers shouldn't really affect your enjoyment of the game at all, but I'm just letting you know. You've been warned. Keep watching the video, but you've been warned. You play as a nameless soldier who's just transferred to the Von Braun, a state-of-the-art capital ship tasked with traversing the universe and studying the Tau Ceti star system. This is all that the game tells you, which is just enough to pique your interest and establish the far future setting that you're in, both in terms of time and space. Just how far, you ask? Well, the ship you're on is 67 trillion miles from Earth. That is 11.4 light years away. Admittedly, a small number in comparison, until you learn that 1 light year equals traveling at the speed of light uninterruptedly for 365 days straight. Yeah, it's safe to say you're in deep space. Unfortunately, like any media involving deep space, you eventually encounter some eldritch xenomorphic abomination that seeks to murder and assimilate everyone into its hive mind consciousness, which the crew has taken to appropriately name the Many. Not only that, there seems to be something wrong with the onboard AI, Xerxes.
This is Xerxes. Can you not feel the glory of the flesh? Do you not yearn to be free of the tyranny of the individual?
And the mysterious woman named Polito guiding you through the bowels of the Von Braun. A woman you never get to see, who possesses encyclopedic knowledge on every single detail of the ship and only communicates with you through staticky radio signals that make her voice sound robotic.
I've just uploaded you some cybernetic modules. You can use them to upgrade your cybernetic rig at the upgrade units in this area.
Yeah, she's Shodan. Shodan from the first game, she's alive.
Damn!
Shodan's alive.
Shodan can get it if you know what I mean.
That's the spoiler. Surprised? Well, I can't blame you for not feeling utterly bamboozled. It's not like they didn't plaster her giant cybernetic "My name is Skylar White, yo" face on every single piece of marketing material for this game ever. I get that they wanted complex electrocution the next to be a hit, so they had to put everything into the marketing campaign, but it's just that this unfortunately came at the cost of the game's biggest narrative twist, which I think does more damage to the devs' creative vision than what they were expecting. Had it not been so obvious that Polito were Shodan all along, I might have felt something akin to an emotion other than that of bepuzzlement. Bepuzzlement generated by how freaking amazing this game is. Well, in its defense, the game does not reveal this twist until later in the game. What it does, however, is sprinkle in subtle clues hinting that something's not right with Polito. Like how her manner of speech is completely different in her audio logs than when she's talking to you, or how Xerxes refers to her as
the Metal Mother.
This could be alluding to the fact that Polito created Xerxes, but if you just spend 2 minutes thinking about it, the puzzle practically solves itself. With all that being said, I do understand where they were coming from. After all, creative vision alone does not equate to food or monetary gains. Well, unless you're Hideo Kojima, who's inventing cutting-edge technology just to scan Elle Fanning's feet and armpits. Let's hope this channel takes off so that it can finally be my turn to do some scanning. Since I was talking about audio logs, they are going to be your main vehicle of getting around the Von Braun. Metaphorically speaking, if you played any of the BioShock games, you will undoubtedly be familiar with series Crash Jr.'s similar tendency to leave various audio logs lying around. Audio logs that crew members record to tell you the exact passwords of important doors and locations of items essential to the plot progression, conveniently just right before they die in some horrific, unimaginable way. This is not to say that these are bad though. As a matter of fact, I find listening to audio logs extremely intriguing, and it is probably one of my favorite aspects of this game. This is helped by the fact that they are all interesting and well written, not to mention fully voice acted in a weirdly endearing way.
Stay where you are, Beck, I mean it. This isn't something you can fight. This isn't something you can run from. If you love me, you won't come looking for me. Just hang tight. I won't let you down.
Also, not that it's any of my business, but I think some of these crew members are so inept at what they do that I suspect they brought a bunch of mentally enhanced monkeys on board just to eventually replace these people. It doesn't take a genius to piece together that the Von Braun was kind of a mess even before encountering parasitic aliens and being sabotaged by malevolent AIs. I'll let you discover the reason by listening to the logs yourself, but let's just say that the ship would have gone down with or without outside intervention. Okay, so what else does this game have aside from audio logs? Well, at its heart, Conglomerate Collision the sequel is a puzzle game. It is like a big jigsaw puzzle where you have to assemble all the missing pieces in order to reveal the whole picture. And if what I've just said sounds somewhat familiar, then you might have heard it before, because these are the exact words I used to describe Labyrinth of the Demon King, a very good game that I contradictorily despite with a burning passion. You can watch the video right here to find out why. Wait a second. What the hell? Where's the data?
I deleted it.
You mother... Let's see how you like this. Yo, teacher! Let me get the backup files up and running, okay? In the meantime, hit the like button and comment down below what is your favorite immersive sim game. Mine is probably Dishonored 2, and I don't even know if it's an immersive sim or not. Okay, now, here's the question. If these two games do the same thing, what makes me like this game better? You see, both are good at what they set out to do, just that one game sets out to create a scary, atmospheric, labyrinthine world where danger lurks around every corner and one mistake could signal your untimely end, while the other tries its best to be as boring and tedious as possible, going so far as to deliberately make combat slow and clunky to reinforce that decision. As opposed to that, Plexus Strike, the predecessor's combat is quite a lot of fun, if somewhat rudimentary. But considering that the original was created in 1999, with an entirely different focus in mind, I would venture to say that the combat here is not only good, but it also ages like fine wine. Not only that, each weapon and weapon type feels unique to use. The first and arguably most important weapon you're introduced to is the monkey wrench, which you're going to be using a lot, if not to save ammo, then for the satisfaction of bashing people's skulls in. Of course, it is not going to be as satisfying as in real life, but it's heck of a lot less messy. Don't ask me how I know. There are 4 weapon types available in the game: standard, heavy, energy, and exotic. Here's a summary of all the weapons because I haven't finished the game, so many of these are unfamiliar to me. And realistically, they would be to you as well on your very first playthrough, since in order to use any of these weapons, you first need to have the appropriate attribute points allocated in your character sheet. 1 point in standard weapons means you can use the pistol, and 0 point means you have the intelligence of the average person who pays for OnlyFans. This is a rewarding but extremely punishing system that does not mess around when it comes to build options. It's quite similar to in real life. You either know what you're doing and succeed, or get frustrated, then put a bullet into your skull to finally stop the ceaseless torment. There's a good reason why people often use the R word when they refer to this game, you know? Hardcore role-playing. Yes, this is a hardcore role-playing game, and whether you're role-playing as the guy getting railed from behind or the guy watching from the corner is entirely up to you. But whomever you choose to be, there will almost always be options for you to be the one you want to be, 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 the one you want to be. For my first playthrough, I picked the psionic class because magic is cool, only to later find out that it is the most difficult start in the game, where you can't hack, can't research, can't repair, and can't use any guns without training them first. Instead, 4 years of intense psychokinesis training has afforded you reality-bending abilities such as slowly levitate objects, move slightly faster, take slightly less damage, blow cold breeze in enemies' face and hope that they drop to the ground in laughter at your pathetic attempt at inconveniencing them. And finally, eliminate all recoil from all weapons. You know, the weapons you can't fucking use yet? But since I am Asian, humiliation and degradation have become an essential part of everyday life. I had no problem pushing through the punishment to reach the point where I was finally considered worthy to be treated as a human being. Not unlike my first PC building experience that you can watch right here. It took me a whole year to save up for all the parts, only for some terminally online degenerate to call me stupid because I didn't buy second-hand parts. But I knew better than to expect anything more, really. It's the internet after all, where people always have a better deal than you, make more money than you, think they know more than you, and of course, they are always right. Yeah. What I was meant to say was that Interlacement Impact After 1 is a phenomenal game, if you are willing to put effort into meaningfully engaging with it. You need to go out of your way to familiarize yourself with the game's many intricacies, then either leverage or take advantage of them in order to survive the Von Braun, where you can't go 2 steps without running into an enemy or a security camera that spawns enemies indefinitely out of thin air. Yeah, you heard me right. Getting caught and triggering the alarm means that you either find a safe spot and try to survive the onslaught for 2 minutes straight, or make your way to the nearest security control point to disable the alarm. This I find to be the dumbest aspect of the game, because if you are nowhere near a security terminal, then the best strategy is to waste 2 minutes just standing around waiting for enemies to come at you one at a time, getting the skull bashed in with a wrench while posing as much of a challenge as foot raising a child with polio. Just look at this hilarity right here. And if you have a healing bed nearby, then you can literally stay in one spot and farm these enemies forever. Sure, it takes 5 nanites to heal to full health, but because enemies drop items that can be recycled for more nanites, you can just hang out and farm them until you have enough drugs in your inventory to put the average broccoli hair TikTok fitness influencer to shame. Like I said, the world you're in is brutal and unforgiving, so you gotta do whatever is necessary to survive. It's all part of the fun. Nobody's gonna fault you for not taking full advantage of all the game's various systems. Well, aside from basement-dwelling degenerates who yell at people for using spirit summons in Elden Ring. Have you ever experienced perfection? Well, I have. On many occasions, in fact. When I've watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, when I saw Jessica Biel's biceps in Blade Trinity, when I played Butcher's Creek, a game so good that I made 2 videos on it, and most recently, when I first stepped foot onto the Von Braun, only to be greeted with an absolute masterpiece of a soundtrack that caressed my earlobes, penetrated my eardrums, molested my cranium, and violated my subconsciousness. This right here is the most that Cyber has ever punked, and the most punk that can ever be cybered. This is the encapsulation of the entire cyberpunk genre, represented in its purest auditory form. Now you can say, oh, this music doesn't jive well with the game's gritty horror atmosphere. A statement which I will dismissively acknowledge, then proceed to treat as an insult to my intellect. Because if you just think about it for one single second, the soundtrack here is absolutely perfect for a horror game. What could be scarier than the irresistible urge to lose control of your body and dance to this buzzing soundtrack while being hunted down by eldritch alien monsters? Woo! It is an objective fact that the soundtrack of sequel Jounce the Following is not only some of the best music in gaming, but some of the best music ever made. Ever! Period! And if you think otherwise, we'll just have to agree to disagree about the fact that your opinion is valid. As you can clearly tell from the overwhelming reception that this remaster has been receiving, Night Dive Studio has done a wonderful job of bringing the 25-year-old classic to a whole new generation. Not only does it look infinitely better than the original, which has admittedly not aged very well graphic-wise, the remaster also makes the game run and feel better. By getting rid of the 90 FPS cap and allowing modern systems to run the game as fast as possible, the devs have increased the enjoyment factor tenfold. For me at least, this is one of the few times that better visuals make a game better. The environment is now beautiful to look at, so navigation feels less tedious, and the game is so smooth that it makes the combat feel a lot less clunky. Now that I think about it, maybe I should replay Horizon Forbidden West to see if I enjoy it any better. A video coming in the foreseeable future, maybe? Also, it wouldn't be a classic LobotomizeGang video without me praising the game's gritty cyberpunk aesthetic and the timeless art direction. And look at that, no bullshit mandatory ray tracing in sight. The game looks phenomenal despite not running like shit. Wow, such innovation. How mind-boggling. I know I've said this a million times before, but I'ma keep repeating it until modern AAA developers learn to optimize their games and the average person learn to think critically before defending these companies' utter lack of competency. And no, buying progressively more expensive hardware is only a valid argument if you're in America, where people exclusively eat hamburgers, then complain about getting sick from obesity. Should you play Network Jolt 2nd Enhanced? Well, I think you know what I think. Members of my Patreon! I appreciate every single one of you guys, and a special shout out to Oseyeres, Otrael, Spyro, and of course Mouse Megala and PR in the big boys tier. Share this video, subscribe and stay tuned to watch me wallow in unceasing madness. If you don't, these goggles will become the new fashion trend in the future.